Hello everyone, good evening. Good evening, dear participants. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to day 2 of our Amazon Web Services Machine Learning Operations with AWS Masterclass. Good evening. Can I get some response in chat box? Very good evening, all. Welcome everyone. Good evening to day 2 of our Machine Learning Operations MLOps with AWS Masterclass. Good evening, and I hope in day 1, let us see a recap. We have seen the introduction to cloud computing, to AWS, to machine learning operations. Then we have seen about data center, availability zone, region. So answer this question, a collection of or a cluster of data center is called as, what is a cluster of data center is called as? Whether it's called as a region or availability zone or something else. And then we have seen about the compliance, like what all things you have to consider when you are selecting a region. And then we have seen about account creation and budget creation, right, in our previous session. Fine. In our previous session, we have discussed this, right? So a collection or a cluster of data center is called as availability zone or a region. Who is the first person is going to tell the correct answer? Still I haven't got the response. Availability zone, right? Yeah, not region. Answer is availability zone, and a cluster of availability zone is called as a region. Audio is too low. Let me check into it. Yeah, sorry guys. I hope now the audio will be fine, and I hope the audio will be better now. And talking about that, yes, availability zone, right? So now with that, we move into our session. So the first topic we are going to see is essential content, which is called as identity and access management, also called as IAM. So if you guys are ready, you can post down some emojis in chat box so that we can start with the session on IAM, and then we go into EC2, where we are going to create today Linux from AWS server, right? Yeah. So we start now. IAM, identity and access management. So this identity and access management is a service, okay, which is help you in the governance of your account. So it's for account management, okay. So whether it could be like you can decide who can access, what they can access, and what on resources they can access. You can handle it with IAM, okay. So this AWS IAM is a web service that helps you securely control access to AWS resources, and with IAM you can centrally manage permissions that control which AWS resources users can access, and you can use IAM to control who is authenticated and what they are authorized to use. So this is actually helpful when you have, or when you are creating, or when you are owner of a company. I have this scenario. We know that every process, if you are moving into cloud, then you have a main account which is called as root account, and you don't want this to be available for every employee, right? Maybe you have a junior who has joined in the team of database, and what he had done is accidentally he had deleted the entire database of your company. Then what happens? Everything goes down, right? So that is not what everyone prefer. So they need some control. So what you can do is, your parent or main account is called as root account. Even in yesterday when we created an account, it told us to create root email ID. Root account is the main account. So with that, you as a owner can create multiple sub accounts with respective credentials. You can give a username and password for them, so they can access, with the new credentials they can access your account. But from the root account, you can decide who can access and what they can access. So if you want him to give some permissions, maybe you want him to use the database, but you can give permissions just for reading it, and not modifying it. And for some seniors, you can give permissions for reading, modifying, writing, deleting. So you can give it for seniors. And you have another team who don't even have the need of database. You don't want to give permissions to them. So this authorization you can do with the help of IAM, which is Identity and Access Management in AWS. And using this in IAM service, we will be having four things: users, user groups, roles, and policies. Okay, so users are the people you are going to create. With users, you can go and create people. You can create user ID, password, credentials, and all. Then what is user groups is, once you created user, okay, you can group them. Maybe your company has developers, your company has marketing team, your company has sales team, your company have tester team. So you have all these teams, right? What you can do is you can create groups. Maybe you can create developers, a group where you can add all the users who are developers, and you can add testers separately, because it is difficult for you to go individually and add policies. So add permissions. Okay, so we'll be adding permissions on what they can use. Maybe if we have a machine learning team and they want to use SageMaker, instead of going and adding for every machine learning engineer, you can add them into a common group and add a common functionality to them. So persons in that group will get that. For seniors, you can add personal permissions in their respective account from users. So that can be done. And we have roles and policies. So policies are exactly the permissions we are talking about. So in AWS, we have a lot of policies available, which tells that which access should be given, what level of access should be given. It's a document available. We will be attaching these policies to users or user groups. And roles is a thing which we'll be discussing later on. You need to have few more understanding on other services so that you can understand roles. And with this thing, I think we can go and see hands-on. Users are individual account. You can create and own the credentials, and user groups are a collection of group. You can group them into categories and add common permissions or remove them and all. And policies are the permissions. It's like a document which tells what they can use or not. You will be attaching or giving policies to them. And roles we'll discuss later. So I think we can go hands-on into our account. And as I told you, as a beginner, once you have created your account, just go and search for your budgets. Okay, get your budget and search for the alert. Check whether it is under limit or not. Okay, so you can see it is well under the limit. The threshold is okay. There is no any error. So which means the budget is under my cost. So now I can go and continue. I'll search for IAM, Identity and Access Management. I'll click this. It has the security credentials and multi-factor authentication. Everything can be done here. Once you go into this, you can go into the left side and scroll below. You can find user groups, users, roles, policies, and all. These four are we are going to cover now. I'll click first users to create a user. I have some dummy main, so I'm going to now create a user. So I'll create by a username which is ml underscore engineer underscore 1. Okay, and yeah, so we go with, okay, I will click this, provide user access to AWS management console, and tell I want to create an IAM user to create IAM user. So once you click that, sometime if you want to give a auto generated password, you can go with that, so the user will be getting it. Or if you want, you can create a custom password. So I'll set a password for him. For that ML engineer, I'll create a password. Okay, so I have created a password here. I'm not going to show it anyway. And I have this user must create a new password at next sign in. So this is something like I will create this account and give him the password. So when the machine learning engineer or my employee tries to log in, he have to mandatorily change that password at the beginning. So in some places we may get this functionality, right? You can add it, or I'll just remove it for now. I don't want to do that. Just go with this password and then click next. So you can add it to a group, or you can add some permissions or attach policies. I'm not going to do anything. Okay, I'll just go with next. I'm not going to add anything. So now we are under review and create. The name is ML underscore engineer 1 and I know the password, which is a custom password and no requirement of doing it, and there is no permissions attached to him. It's nothing. He don't have any permissions now. I'll create this user. Okay. So you have the username, sign in URL and the password. I copy this. I have sent it to my machine learning engineer 1. Okay. So I'll open an incognito tab and log in now. AWS login, or I'll paste this link, which is going to take me for the console sign in. So that employee is now trying to sign in into the account. It is asking me asking for the username, and I'll enter it is ML underscore engineer underscore 1, right? And I'll enter the password as well. Fine. So I'll sign in. It is a IAM user login, not a root user login. So I sign in. If the credentials are correct, I will be taking into the account. Okay, so now we have logged in. So you can see I am in my account, but it is a IAM account. There is no permission. You can see access is denied to view content. Maybe if I try to use some application, let us see whether I can access or not. Okay, so there is a service which we will be learning in a couple of days, which is called as S3. So it is a storage service. So I'm going to go into this and I want to use some storage details here. I want to pick some data here. Okay, so I'll try to access the buckets. Buckets is the storage location, and what it is telling me. Can you guys tell me what it is telling? And can you tell why it is giving me this error? It is telling this user that this person don't have permission to use this. Okay, because we haven't added any permission, so this account don't have any permissions here. He don't have any permission, but for his work he need to use it. Okay, this S3 service he want to use it. So this employee is now reverting me back. He comes with a query that, sir, I need to use this. Okay, so you have to give me permission. So now as a root user account, what I am going to do is I go into my users. Okay, I find my machine learning engineer 1 here. I go into him and I can alter this now. So I'm going to add permissions. Okay, you can add the permission policies. Okay, I'll add permission and add a permission here. So you can attach the policies directly and search for policy here. These are all the policies. You can select and go into that. Okay, so you can search for S3. So you have different read-only access or like full access can be given. So this employee I need to give full access because he want to modify that as well. You can go inside of that. It is just a JSON file with lot of permissions inside written. Okay, what all they can use, you will be having the details. I'm just going to click this. I have selected, click next. This is the only policy. I'm going to add permission now. So this permission is now attached. So this machine learning engineer can access that service now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll go back into this person and I tell that you now have permission. So he just want to refresh the things, and you can see he can now access all the buckets or the storage inside. He can get the data and download and use it. Got it? But he can't use any other thing. So that is what. Okay, that is what IAM user is, where you can create the user. Rohit Sidhu, please wait. Our team will be adding you to the course soon. So sorry for the issue. So that is users. And then going into user groups. Groups are collection of IAM users, right? You can create a common group and add all your employees there. And at the same time, let me just show you. Okay, for example, if I go into this account, let us have it. Let me go into the root account. Okay, so you can create user groups here. Just create a group of ML engineers. So what all users you have, you can select them. And like if you have other users as well, you can select, and you can attach common policies which will apply for this group as well. So I'll add a common policy for using Alexa for business, for example, and I'll create this group. So they'll get all these permissions, whoever in this group. But if I don't want them to exist, if I want to delete this group, I can select this and delete. Okay, so you want to type this repetitively, so you can go with ml_engineers delete. So whatever I create, I will tell you how to delete as well, because we are practicing, and anything if you are keep on running, it may cost you in AWS. See here under users, if I don't want this user, I can delete him. I can go and delete this user and type the confirmation, whatever it is asking, you can write it. The user will be deleted. Once it is deleted, you can't access this account. Okay, so if you refresh it, it will give you error. Okay, so see here it is struggling, it won't give you. After some time it is logging out. That's what will happen if you delete that user. And make sure once practiced, just delete it. No need of having a sub account for now. If you are not, or if you want to go and have a safe play, you can go into the root account, create a IAM for your practice and give some like simple or whatever required. You can add permissions and use from your IAM account. And in policies, you have different policies like we have attached. And role is something like, once we learn more about the services, this role is something like, if you want to use one service from another service. So in AWS we have multiple services which want to interlink and work, but one service cannot use another service without permission. So for adding policies to some services, we will be adding roles. So role is something like a name which is going to once again have policies. You can select what it is, and if you click next, you once again you are going to add policies. So this named entity is going to be a collection of policies you add to some other service. So that is our IAM, and I hope the IAM is clear. If we are clear, we can continue into the next part, which is EC2. And before that, if you want to convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on machine learning operations with AWS, you can join the internship. You'll be getting all the benefits such as 30 days of live sessions, 90 days of access to all the records, 6+ source codes of AWS projects, downloadable PPTs, 30-day PPTs, code files, downloadables, 5 mentor live in mastermind session, which is Zoom. You can clarify all your doubt by directly interacting with the mentor. And the first session is going to happen in a couple of days. So the batch 1 ends in a couple of days. You can join, you can get internship confirmation letter and then internship certification by the end. And you can get all these benefits by clicking in the registration link which is posted in chat box, and you can get these things at a discounted fee at $799. You can join as an internship user. You will be getting separate agenda for 30 days. You have 30-day contents on AWS basics, deep machine learning with deep learning on image processing as well as natural language processing, as well as machine learning operations from scratch using Git and GitHub, CI/CD with GitHub, then Sagemaker deployment and AWS AI services usage. So you can get all these things along with project files such as vehicle insurance claim fraud reduction, Avalon age prediction, Sagemaker Canvas clustering project, census income prediction project with deployment, and music creator recommended system with deployment. And this is how our CI/CD pipeline will be on AWS. After training, the model will go CI/CD pipeline. It will train and it will ask for the superior's approval, and once approved, it will be deployed in production. So with that model deployment, you can get the URL and the API. You can invoke and get predictions from anywhere. So that's how in real time the companies work, and we are also going to do that. And you can get all these benefits, 1 month internship and these benefits, downloadables and all at this discounted fee at $799. The registration link is posted in chat box. So if we are clear, we can now start with EC2, AWS EC2, also called as Elastic Compute Cloud. Can we start with this? Can I get some response in chat box? AWS EC2. So in traditional setups, applications are actually deployed to physical servers. Okay, so there will be some physical server which has processors, memory, storage, operating system and cooling system. But in cloud, the applications are deployed to a virtual machine. Okay, and AWS Elastic Compute Cloud, also called as EC2, is a virtual machine. Okay, what is that virtual machine? So in your local or in traditional setup, we will be deploying it in physical server. Similarly, in your cloud setup, you are going to deploy your application in a virtual machine. Virtual means internet. So what is that virtual machine? Let us see. Okay. What is virtual machine? So virtual machine is something like a thing which is going to, like, one thing, understand guys. If you want to deploy your application, you need a server, and there should be some physical server which has this processor, memory, storage, internet, cooling system, operating system, power supply and all. But instead of you having it, now you are going to get it from the cloud service provider, and he will have the server in their data center, right? So in their data center, they have this infrastructure, all the infrastructure. They will be doing or having something called as a hypervisor, and with this hypervisor, what they do is they split this infrastructure into partitions. Maybe if you have 1 TB, you can split it into 3 or 4 groups, maybe 250 for each. You can split it into partitions, and through internet they are going to rent it to you. Okay, imagine the infrastructure they have in entire data centers. They have all those things, they give it to you, and what happens is the person one can install his guest OS, his libraries and binaries, and then his application they can run, or she can use it in some other different application. Another person can use their own application. So that's how the cloud computing virtual machine gives us different person. They give the infrastructure by splitting it via hypervisor. So they give the hardware and physical resource through internet. So the virtual machines can be used to create multiple OS, and they can run their application. So this is infrastructure as a service. Okay. So they just give the infrastructure in EC2. Okay. So with this, one person can run their own application by installing their own OS and then run it. That's what we will do. EC2 is once again a virtual machine which you can create, manage, terminate the life cycle of EC2 instances. You can attach storage to your EC2 instance by using AWS Elastic Block Store. Load balancing can be done, auto scaling can be done. So first we'll see EC2 to create a Linux instance. Okay, so I think I can go into the console and go hands-on. And once again, before starting, I'll tell you, if you are going to practice this, then follow the commands as I do. Don't run. Okay, and the reason is, if you select some wrong details here, they are going to cost you. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you are doing this. It's very simple, at the same time be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, virtual servers in the cloud. Okay, so this is the home page. Looks like the instance, we call it as an instance. One computer in the cloud, we call it as an instance. You can create 10 instance you want. I see that there is no instance running right now. I can just click this launch instance, or directly I can go into the instances and click this launch instance. So this is what the template. Here you want to fill all the information and click launch to create this. But what I need to do, first I need to create a name. I'll give a name which is my server 1. Okay, and then I have a place something called as application and OS image, also called as Amazon machine image. What is that? Amazon machine image, or AMI, okay, acts as a template for launching EC2 instances with precise operating system, software configurations and application environment. Okay, so Amazon machine image acts as a template for launching EC2 instance with precise operating system, software configuration and application environment. Here we are going to choose the OS. So for your server, virtual server, do you want Linux or Mac OS or Ubuntu or Windows? You can select. So first we go with Linux, and Linux, Ubuntu, Windows have free tier, and Mac OS don't have any free tier. If you are opening Mac OS, then you have to pay for it. There is no free options. And how to select free option, I'll tell you. Once you click Amazon Linux, it's a Linux by AWS, and you can see this is giving you the free tier eligible. You want to select this. Already it will be selected. You can modify this as well. You have another free tier which has different volume. See here, the volume will be different. You have some free tier option here, but this thing is not free tier. They have GPU, PyTorch and all, NVIDIA integrated. This will cost you. Okay, if you select that, it is going to tell you how much it is going to cost and all. So this is costly, don't use it. For practice, go with free tier. I'll go with Amazon Linux, which is free tier eligible. Please be careful here. And the architecture and all is selected here. Next is something known as instance type. Okay, so what is the instance? So instance is something like it's the hardware configuration. So if Amazon machine image is the software, instance type is the hardware you want. So what is the CPU you want, what is the memory of it, what's the storage and networking capacity you want, you can go with instance type. So in instance type, by beginning itself we have t2.micro, which is free tier eligible, and I'll suggest you, if you are practicing, go with free tier eligible. If you are deploying your company, you may have to go and select any of this. See here, what we have here is T2 family, which is 1 CPU, 1 gigabyte memory, that is what, and it's free tier eligible, but you have other option as well. See here, if I scroll below, I have some larger. So this guy is, even if you use per hour, it is $7 US. So in Indian rupees, how much it costs? $7 US means $1, I hope it's around 80. So you will be getting, for every hour you will be charged with 500, and if you come next day and see it, you will be getting a huge amount of price. So don't go and play with this. Select the free tier eligible option. So this is actually, it has heavy memory. So for your server, if you want this, you can go. You can even run a application or a company site here. Okay. So we have 64 vCPU. Like nearly 1 TB of memory, so you can select here, and we can go with t2.micro, which is free tier eligible. And next is key pair login. Okay, key pair login is something like a security credential. Okay, so security credential, what you can do is, it's an access key where you can keep it and later on you can get it, or when you are trying to access from some other device, you need this key pair. And you can create a key pair and type a name. What's the date today? Today is March 27, right? So I'll create it in this name and just create this key pair. It will be downloaded. You can keep it in your local system. And in network, I'm not going to access anything now. By default, we have SSH traffic. Secure shell connection is allowed. So I'll keep with that. And I'm not going to select HTTP or HTTPS traffic. And the storage configuration is actually from a service which is called as Elastic Block Store. It gives you 30 GB for free. Okay, so here it is selected just 8 GB. So 8 GB of hardware is free. 30 GB up to 30 it is free. So don't go beyond that. So once again, let me freshly go through this. What all we have selected? We have gone with the name. We have gone and selected what is the software configuration, what is the OS. And I especially went with a free tier eligible one. And then scrolling below, I have the instance type, which is the hardware configuration. Okay, so that also I have gone with the free tier eligible. And then key pair login, we don't need security group, we'll see later on, not now here. So we have a key pair login for secure connection through SSH. And the network setting, I'm not going to alter anything. So they are going to create a new security group. Security group is something like what all permissions in networking got added here. I'm just going to add SSH. It is going to create a new named entity and just add it. If you want, you can select from the previous as well. As a beginner, you won't have it. So you can create a new security group and add the permission you want. And then the configuration of storage is 8 GB, 30 is the free tier. So you can read it from here. In your first year, you get 750 hours of t2.micro. Okay, this t2.micro is 750 hours eligible free in a year. And 750 hours of this storage, 30 GB is available for you. Okay, and this is what we prefer. And the AMI, you have that free. So we pick the free tiers alone. And once you've done, you can see the summary here. Please make sure you have selected the free tier and you can click launch instance. So once I click this launch instance, the instance got created now. It will take some time to deploy, so it is pending state. You can refresh to see. So if I look into the EC2 dashboard and refresh this, I have one instances and running is 0. Soon it will start running. Okay, if it starts running, which means it is live, we can access it. I'll refresh it and wait for it to connect. You can see now it is 1, which means instance is running. You can click that. The instance state is running. So how to connect now? So we have created a Linux, fine. How to use it? Please follow through it. You have to select it. And in the actions, you want to click connect. Can we go with this? Can we continue? Are we clear till now? Can I get some response in chat box? Yes? So you have to go into the actions and click connect to connect to your server. Can we connect? So if I click connect, it will take me into this page where you have different options for connecting. For now, just stick with EC2 instance connect from AWS. So you can just scroll below and click this connect option now. So if you click this connect as well, it will create, okay, so if you just refresh, maybe I think there is some connectivity issue, but you can see, right, it is establishing a connection, and this is my server 1, which is a Linux. What you can see, it is Amazon Linux. I hope, do you guys know any Linux commands? Can you help me with this? I think there is something known as I am who or who am I. Who knows that? So the nodes downloadables are for the internship user. If you want, you can join as an internship user. You will get all the notes and support from our side with PPT, code files and all. The registration link is posted in chat box. Anyone knows any Linux commands? Okay, I think I can go with who am I, right? So it is a EC2 user is the name, and ls is the list directory. We don't have anything. Okay, sudo super user, very good. Okay, so I can go with make directory dummy, and if I go with ls now, I have a folder called as dummy, so I can change the directory into dummy now. Okay, and I can create a file touch home.html ls. I have the home.html, I can use it. Okay, so I'll just come out of it. Okay, we have the folder now. Got it? Are we clear with creating Linux instance? If we are clear, we have few more things to do in this session. Just play with this. For practice, we are going to do something. Yes, very good guys. Make directory, touch, change mode, change directory, who am I? Very good. So, and now we have actually created, launched and connected to our EC2 instance, right? Now, what we are going to do is we are going to try to launch Apache server from our EC2 instance. Can we try it? Do anyone know what is Apache server? Can I get some response in that in chat box? Good to see a lot of responses. Keep that fire till day 21. Okay, very good guys. Can you guys post down what is Apache server? And please wait, I'm going to deploy this globally and you guys can get it. Okay, so I'll be deploying this globally with HTTP allowed, so you can view it, anyone can view it. I'll be posting the link in chat box, so even if attendance came, please wait, I have a surprise for you in the end. Okay, and if you want to convert this masterclass into a certified internship on machine learning operations with AWS 1 month certified internship, you can join and get all the benefits. 30 days of live sessions, access to all the record, downloadables, Zoom sessions, internship confirmation letter and then internship certification. You can get all these benefits at a discounted fee at $799. The registration link is posted in chat box and you will be getting 30 days agenda, in-depth contents and project files, CI/CD deployment aspect. Fine. Yeah, Apache server is an open source web hosting server where you can create your web app and run it, web server and run it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize my Linux to run it. So for that I need the sudo su to start running. Okay, and I'm going to go first with yum update all. Everything is updated, so I'm going to go with yum install. So if you guys don't know this Linux commands, don't worry, this is just a demonstration of how you can use Linux. Okay, yum install httpd. Yes, httpd is the http daemon server. HTTP is the protocol for running the web server using Apache, so that's why we have installed that. And we are going to use system control start httpd and then system control enable httpd. Done. Okay, so now what we should be able to do is, okay, I think we can even do this, which is echo h1 tag. So inside h1 let me type hello from Pandas. And what I'm going to do is, let us just close this tag, h1 tag. So I'm modifying the h1 tag and I'm going to do the changes, update it inside. This is the directory for doing it. And inside of that, let me do it in index.html. Okay, fine. Okay, I think system control, I haven't ran it. System control enable httpd. We run it and then we go with, now let us go with echo h1 tag hello from Pandas. And then close this h1 tag, and I want to write this inside www html, inside of that index.html. Okay, I think we need to do this inside this. And we won't be viewing it for now because we have one thing to do. Okay, okay, fine. So this public IP which we have, right, this should be able to show us that particular Apache web server, but we can't view it for now. And the reason is we have allowed only the SSH traffic and not the HTTP traffic. So we need to modify this. So what I have to do is, see here, how am I going to modify the network settings? Please listen now. So I'm going to go into the server and click this instance ID. Please follow through it. So click it. You will be getting all the details here. So here I want to search for the security. Okay, so inside security I want to alter the security group, and this is what the security group which is related to that. So let me click that, and if you scroll below, we have one inbound rule which is SSH, and I want to allow HTTP traffic, so I'll edit the inbound rule. So and I'll add a rule which is going to allow HTTP. Let me search for HTTP traffic, and I can just save the rules. This is 0000. Fine. So I'll save this, and now the security is updated. So let me just close this and let me once again restart the application. Okay, I'll launch the instance. Okay, we have an instance, right? So we have to connect to it. Select it, connect, and scroll below. You have the connect option. We connect it once again. We have already installed those. So what we can do is, we can go with system control start httpd sudo su, then system control start httpd and system control enable httpd. So this is done. So I need to use the public IP, and if it is loaded, it can help us to view the results. See here, it works. And what I'm going to do is, I'll post this in chat box. You guys please try this. I have given the link. You guys open it. You can see it works in your web browser as well. No, that's not the syntax. We are writing h1 tag. It should end with h1 only. /h1. That's how we write the tag. Can you guys update? Can you guys view it works in your browser? I think it is deployed globally and you can view it. Yes? Are you guys seeing it works on your page as well in your browser? Can anyone respond? Can you view it? Yes, which means we have deployed a web server from our Linux from AWS and we have deployed globally. It's not a local server, it is global server now, it's running. So I hope we have made some sense in this session, right? Interesting, right? So yeah, that's it. And in the next session, we'll modify this furthermore and tune it, and we'll be seeing about elastic load balancer, auto scaling, and all. And before winding up, if you want to, and once again, one more important thing, if you are running this, I don't want it to keep on running the free tiers for some limited time. So what I need to do is, if I don't want this to exist, I want to delete this entirely. First, I can select this, and in instance state, I can go and stop it or reboot it or terminate it. Terminate means entirely delete. If you want to stop for now, you can stop it by clicking stop. It will be stopped, it will be idle. Okay, so if you don't want it to run, you can click the instance states and terminate it. So after stopping, you can also terminate that as well. This is how we remove any EC2 instance. Okay, so we have seen how to create something and delete something. So please make sure, if you are practicing, create and then terminate as well. So that is a better practice, and you can go without any cost. Okay, you can see there is no instances running right now. And then dashboard, this will be available for some time. It is shut down and terminated soon. Okay, so terminated, it will vanish soon. So that's it, done. So that's it guys, that's with EC2. And in EC2 we have a lot more, like for the server we have load balancers, auto scaling and all, which we'll implement in the next session. And yeah, so if you want to convert this masterclass into 1 month certified internship on AWS machine learning operations, you can join as an internship user by getting all these benefits: 30 days of live sessions, 90 days of access to all the records, 6+ source code of AWS projects, 30 downloadable PPTs, 5 mentor Zoom session where you can clarify your doubt by directly interacting with the mentor, internship confirmation letter, and then internship certification by the end. You can get all these benefits at a discounted fee at $799, and the registration link is posted in chat box. You can join as internship user, get 30-day contents, machine learning, deep learning, machine learning operations with GitHub, AI services from AWS, and the project files, downloadables, the CI/CD pipeline you can learn. So yeah guys, it's a server for launching application. Yes, so that's it. Thank you. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you guys, and I hope the attendance link is posted. You can fill that. Thank you.